Daniel Goleman says, yes, an increasing body of empirical evidence. Empirical is another useful word. Empirical means research-based. And evidence, of course, is equals facts. Not guesses, not made up. Evidence is factual. Okay, so resilient people share three characteristics. They accept reality. Why would that count? Why would that help? Anybody?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess when you don't when you accept a reality, you don't create a lot of expectations that might get you turned down.
Okay, that's very good. Yes. If you are very tuned into reality, you're not going to make up stories and drama. So being objective, being, very observant of what's really true here. So we can, when things go wrong, we tend to make up all kinds of stories. I learned very recently that my ex-husband, we got divorced 25 years ago, and he has lived 1,500 miles away with his second wife. And they are moving where I live in a month. And I just found this out. And I was like, oh my God. And my daughter lives here too, our daughter. And so we asked each other, why are they coming here? That's going to really disturb our comfort, what we know. It's a change. And we made up all kinds of stories about, what they wanted to do and what they were going to ask us. And then it usually helps to ask questions. I communicated with his second wife and I said, so I understand you're moving here. And she said, yeah, she said, I wanted to move to Chapel Hill all my life. My parents met there and we went back there often when I was a kid, when my siblings and I were children. And we had good times there. And I want to live there. And I thought, well, that's really interesting. Yes. The fact is, she has bought a house. They have bought a house and they're moving here next month. And it has nothing to do with me or my daughter or our grandchildren. Nothing. It's not about us. Usually the stories we make up are about us, needless to say. And almost all of those stories will turn out to be wrong, just like that one did. Right. And so really tuning in to what's real here. That's what I need to respond to. And most of the stories that we make up are made up and they're not real. And that makes a big difference because we stress a lot less when we know that we need to find out what's real. So that's one of the characteristics of people that age successfully and healthily and are resilient. The second characteristic is a deep belief that life is meaningful. In other words, it's worth continuing to live. A deep belief, because they experience that life is worth living. And so that helps them to stand up again and move on, no matter what's happened to them. And the third characteristic that resilient people share is they're very creative. And so when something knocks them down, they look at the reality and they say, okay, how can I make this situation work well? And they figure it out and they bounce back. So, can you say that you are a resilient person? Yes, I agree, Blanche. You are an amazingly resilient person. And, you know, I admire you tremendously for that. Okay, who else would say that they are a resilient person?
I think I am.
Yeah, I think you are too. Yep. Okay, Kenna? I'm sorry.
Someone else is talking?
Victoria, okay, go ahead. Yeah, Kenna raised his hand, but
Kenna raised his hand here.
so Kenna, and then but then we'll listen to Victoria. So Kenna, are you a resilient person? Yes? Why do you say that you're a resilient person?
Ma'am, sometimes it feels like that I'm a resilient person, and sometimes I'm actually 50-50. Sometimes it feels like that, no, I cannot move on, and I started crying. I started quarrel with my mother and parents. I need to express my feelings, that's why.
Okay. There's no right or wrong answer. You know, all of us are in process somewhere. If we're gonna be successful and happy, we have to become resilient people. And so, you know, some of us have had more opportunities to practice resilience, and others have had fewer opportunities. And so we're all on the path of becoming resilient, more resilient, more resilient as we keep living. Victoria, how about you?
Yes, I was say something like Tasmia said. I'm in process. So some parts of my life, I can say I am resilient. Some relationships that I have, the boundaries very established, I can't be resilient.
Okay.
Like for example, last year my father was diagnosed. He had cancer and he starts treatment.
Right.
So I guess I was very resilient in the way that I act, like, because we live far away, and from where I was, I couldn't do anything except pray and hope that everything was gonna be very well, and keep checking on them. But I guess he's he was afraid when he told me and my brothers that we are gonna lose our minds, and wanted to go there to be around. But I was very rational of what I could do, what I have to do. So But this is not true when it's about my personal life. That
Right.
I still have to learn to be resilient on those parts because in this form
Resilient.
Mhm.
because
And go ahead.
no I feel like it's I lose myself more and let me get down a little bit easier when
Mhm.
it's about that.
Okay. Yeah. And being resilient doesn't mean that you don't feel the sadness or the fear or the pain. You feel it and you come back. You find how to come back and to go forward, to live your life and be all right. So yeah, you're in the process. We're all in the process. Aminu Soba.
Yeah, miss. Yeah, miss. Uh, Becoming resilient. Yeah, resilient. It has a lot of meaning. Yeah, not only. Yeah, it means that it can be joy or pleasure. Yeah, right, miss.
Mhm.
Resilient means, yeah, is this? It has a lot of meaning. Yeah, one of them is pleasure, right?
Is
Or
what?
joy or pleasure.
Yes.
Pleasure, yeah. Maybe yes. I'm a resilient man, maybe because when my friend asked me about, yeah, I'm fat. Yeah, for example, I'm fat today, but actually I'm fat here because I enjoy. Yeah, I enjoy my life. I enjoy my life. When we are talking about the fact, yeah, I eat in the morning at 6. Yeah, I only have breakfast in the morning and eat at midnight. Yeah, only once I eat in one day. I only have breakfast, but I'm fat. I'm fat, yeah, because I enjoy my life. Yeah, maybe it can be said that I'm a resilient man. Maybe. Hello.
Okay. Okay. I think everybody here is
Yeah. Yes.
resilient.
I have dinner. I have breakfast in the morning, and yeah, usually I have lunch at night like this, mate. Yeah. But I'm still fat. Yeah, I'm still fat.
Well, being fat doesn't is not, doesn't disqualify you from being resilient. It's, it's one of the aspects of our physical being that we're hungrier or we're less hungry. Our body derives more nourishment from food or less. And there's not a lot we can do about it. We need to be all right with whoever we are, being fat, being skinny. It's who we are. And it's okay. There's no way, of being. There's no identity that's less valid than any other identity. Yes, it's important not to get really, really, really fat, if at all possible, but that is not a reason for liking yourself or not, Whatever our physical appearance is, if we have health, that's what we need. Being internal boundaries that you know, hey, here's an opportunity. for what I need. I'm going to take it. That's a good thing to do. So what it means is internal boundaries means you establish limits. That's what boundaries mean, limits. The boundary between, I don't know, Switzerland and Germany is where Switzerland ends and Germany begins. Or Indonesia ends and what begins? Aminusoba.
Indonesia.
Yeah, what's next to Indonesia?
It's Malaysia, no?
Lots of ocean, I know, but what
Malaysia?
country? Malaysia, yes.
I would say
Well,
so.
Well, I'm asking Aminusoba, who's in Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Yeah. So what comes?
Handsome boy.
Okay, let me turn to Tasmia in Bangladesh. When you go
Yes,
past
ma'am.
when you go past the boundary of Bangladesh, where are you?
Sir, sorry, ma'am. I think that was in Pakistan. Then it divided into Bangladesh and India. Help us to in the division of Bangladesh and in the bone of Bangladesh.
Okay,
As far
so
as history
so
says
either
that.
Pakistan or India, depending on which side of Bangladesh, right?
Yes,
come-
ma'am.
You come to the boundary and then you're in the next country, which is either India or Pakistan.
Ma'am, it was Pakistan, ma'am.
Just Pakistan. Okay. Obviously, I am not brilliant at the geography of every place in the world. I'm learning.
Also, Indonesia is also Bali. It
Bali,
also
Bali.
is
Yes.
next to Indonesia.
Who will come to Indonesia? Who will visit Indonesia?
This
Yeah,
is-
raise hand. Raise your
I
hand.
lived in
pick up you.
Malaysia, and Malaysia is close
Oh.
by.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Anne-Marie knows that part of the world. So, and she probably studied the map, so she knows all the boundaries. Okay, so your boundaries are where you put a frontier between you and everybody else. And you say, okay, I did this several years ago. I just made a decision that I was not going to have any meetings or any classes before noon because I need to wake up and I need time to write and read and think and meditate, time for stuff I need to do. And once I get involved in activities and classes and meetings, I don't have any more time to do what I need to do. So I just declared, okay, from now on, we're only meeting afternoon. You know what? It was a great decision. It made my life so much better because now I have that time. I can wake up, I can meditate, I have time to eat breakfast, I have time to, plan what I'm going to do during the day. I have time to read. Wow. I have time to write. It was a wonderful decision on a boundary that I set because I wasn't getting what I needed. Who else has done that? You can do it with, okay? Blanche, go ahead.
I copied you.
Oh, okay. Oh, you did it? You did the same
Yes, I
thing?
did it. I start now by 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Before
So-
10, no way. Anne-Marie is not there before 10.
Yeah, exactly. How is it going for you?
For me, fantastic. For the others,
Well,
they think I'm lazy and sleeping, but actually this is my active time where I
Yeah.
can prepare myself for my duties.
right, exactly. And Wow. I am so glad to hear that. Wonderful. Yeah.
I
it
love
was-
to copy you.
Well, I'll tell you, that was one of the best decisions I ever made for myself. But most of the time, when we're younger, we think, well, I shouldn't do that because they're more important than I am, whoever they are, your kids, your parents, your boss, your co-workers, they, whoever. And the truth is, the reality is, you're just as important.
I limited how long people can stay in my home and visit, because
Okay.
I realize it's a lot on me. You know, you would think it wouldn't be, even if they're to help, but it's extra everything and extra work.
Yeah, that's true.
And even with my pet, I had to set an internal boundary and realize I didn't have the energy to care for anyone but myself.
Okay.
Mhm.
And that is where being aware of reality
Mhm.
comes in as one of the three characteristics of people who learn to be resilient.
Because my sister would like to come and stay for a week or two, and
Ah.
she would see herself as helping me, but she wasn't helping me.
I
Because
see.
she would like for me to do the cooking and the cleaning and everything. So she comes for her appointments, and she could come a day before and maybe stay a day after, and then she has to go. It's just too much for me to entertain.
Very good. Okay. So you have realized what you need, and you've told another person who needs to
Loves
observe
me
what you
dearly.
need. Yeah,
Mhm.
good. Excellent. That is so important for us to do, to be resilient people. So when life isn't working for any one of us, we have the right to figure out what would make it work and to say, okay, I have to do this. I mean, I also do that with when I'm traveling. I am not going to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and get to the airport at 5. I'm sorry. I'm going to be sick for 3 days if I do that. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not taking a flight that early, even though there's lots of flights at 4 or 5 or 6 in the morning. I'm not traveling at that time, period. And that's been very helpful too. Notice I'm not a morning person. That's basically what it boils down to. Okay, so a third way. Do we have time for a third way? We're kind of running out of time. So yes, Victoria, thank you. So the third one, I'm going to tell you what it is, and then we can discuss it next week. Okay? And that is discovering our personal identity rather than having somebody hand it to us. I remember growing up, my father telling me over and over, you are the oldest daughter. You have to take care of everybody else or you will go to hell. Well, so that was my identity for a long time until I grew up and realized, okay, yeah, I'm the oldest daughter, but I still have a right to be a person. But it took me, I had to grow up to be able to say that and to make it happen. And the only way I knew at that point was I left. I ran away. That's the first self-protection that we get is, okay, it's not working here. I'll try to go someplace else. Kids run away. How many of you ran away when you were?
More
All
than
women run away.
Yep.
The women are running away.
Yeah, I mean, I was 8 the first time I ran away. I didn't have any money. I didn't know how to take care of myself. I had to come home. That was the only way I knew to survive, but that was the first time I ran away. And from there until I was 14, when I really left and made it stick, I learned a lot about running away.
Mm.
But that's, probably the first self-protection that kids are able to think about. And we learn later that, okay, I can create my identity. So this is another way we can create our identity by discovering what we need instead of just accepting the identity that society and that our families gave to us. And a part of that is learning to listen to our inner voice. So I'm going to ask you this week, pay attention to your inner voice, find it, and see what it's telling you. And, we understand what our inner voice is telling us in many different ways. It can be through an idea or something we see or something we hear or something we feel. Different people have different predominant ways of learning. So see if you can find your inner voice. And we'll talk about that next week. Okay?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll look forward to
Yeah.
continuing the discussion next week on creating our
Okay.
identity.